I'm going to get some thoughts out now, and then I'm going to kind of vlog my day. I'm in the autism nest, um, which is also the hockey closet, because I'm decompressing after running some errands, and there's something about this that's like a Faraday cage for my nervous system, and it's fucking rad. Anyway, I'm also stoned. That was part of my errands. Um, but I wanted to share some thoughts that I am having about why I enjoy hockey, specifically the aggression. And ultimately, it just comes down to the fact that it's in an appropriate arena. There is permission to be aggressive and be in and try and intimidate other guys and be physical and violent. Um, and it's also tempered. Like, the fights stop usually, usually in the NHL. Like, they eventually will stop. Um, God, that Reeves fight was really good. I just hate that he got hurt. Um, what a badass though. Just first first impulse was just to pop it back in. Um, but like I was raised by a 6'5", not bulky, like beanpole build, rage monster, alcoholic. And y'all know how I talk about don't pathologize evil. Don't call fucking dictators crazy or insane when they're just fucking cruel. Don't use mental illness as a shorthand for something negative, especially something that horrific. Anyway, all that is to say, I genuinely believe that my father was a psychopath. I would not be surprised if he had actually killed a person in his lifetime. And he hinted at it a few times. So that's fun. Um, so he was a rage monster, and you would think that that would mean things like hockey fights would be triggering for me and that I would be really averse to it. And before I started watching the sport, that is kind of not in a triggered way, but like, oh, that's so stupid. Fucking men are stupid. And they are. Um, Reminder, I'm trans mask. When I talk shit about men, yes, it's you if you feel offended. Um, anyway, all that is to say that when men try to be intimidating, it immediately puts me in my most confident mode of, oh, I know all your tricks. I could tell you what you're going to say and what you're going to try. Before you do it, I could hand you a script. Go ahead. I'm just going to stand here and let you waste your breath. So hockey fights to me are fucking hysterical. They're so fucking funny. Such a rush because they're allowed to do it. And in the case of the Sharks, I am choosing at the moment to be delusional enough and trust that none of them are like abusers at the very least. Um, every indication is that they have a very genuine sense of support between each other, between the fans and the team, and between the organization and the community, which is very cool to me. It just feels like they do so much more than just the PR diversity campaign bullshit. Their Pride nights feel genuine. There are other like cultural appreciation nights, like they've done like Vietnamese and a Black Excellence night. I think there was another just like general like Asian American Pacific Islander night. And then stuff like Barbie night and shit like that. But like Barbie night was for girls and women's hockey. So like they're actively changing the sport and seem very genuinely committed to that. So like the baby sharks feel like a new generation. Um, just from a very new fan. Like, And if anything that I'm saying is like wrong, please absolutely like tell me so. Um, anyway, but like Kiefer is a very good example of someone who is super relatable in that he seems pissed off and stressed the entire game and like he's having the most fun of his life. That's what it was like working in a roadhouse performing arts center where we had acts coming in rather than like having a home company. Um, and so we would have two semis to take into a freight elevator up to the third floor of our tiny historic stage. Um, and it was just go, 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 go. And like live theater is such a fucking rush. And I was Sherwood. That was me. I would be angry chain smoking on the dock. I would be cursing and like having the time of my life. Um, yeah. So that's the hockey talk. And I'll start with the vlog bit by showing. I know it's dark, but so I have a Sharks Pride hat. It's just a generic Pride hat that like every team had this, like with the fabric rainbow, which is incorrect. I actually took paint pens and added the top white stripe. Because I checked that the other teams also, and the tag on the back does not have the white stripe, which on the trans pride flag represents non-binary. So I added it back in, but all like this with the white embroidery of the logo. On the back is an additional little tag of a rainbow. And there was a huge NHL patch. And I took that bitch off and got this iron-on moon patch to replace, to like cover up where you could still see the adhesive. However, when I did that, it melted the vinyl on the side text, which is hockey is for everyone. So it's now a very punk rock Sharks Pride hat. I had to paint it back on with some Posca pens, which I had in my travel bag from when I went to Kiowa and had black, green, red, and white Poscas for putting Palestinian flags on the watchtowers. Which unfortunately, because of just like 100% humidity heat, we did not bike out to the watchtowers when we actually got there. But you know, the thought was there. Right. So today, my grandmother and I have been indulging in the rich white tradition of pretending like it never happened just to get by until she leaves. My mom is like super on my side with rules. I think distance is like so much better for her and me. Like we need to not be around each other so often that I resent her like breathing just because she's there and a stimulus. I mean, there's other legitimate like neglect, emotional detachment, like completely emotionally unavailable, and like she knows this. Anyway, so had my early morning. I wrote a tiny bit. I'm working on a sequel to Conversation Killer. I've decided I'm just gonna continue to write. And I will post them. There will probably be quite a few that will go anon. A lot of it's dead dove. Anyway, so I had my coffee and I fed my cat. And I went out and had my cigarette, facing the field behind the pool house. That's my morning. Like me and Quinn will just have our Belgian breakfast and then actual breakfast and take medication and all that shit. And then my grandma left to go meet a friend for lunch. And I ski-daddled without telling her I had any plans to leave and went to the vape shop to pick up another thing of pre-rolls. Because THCA is currently still legal here in South Carolina, and I hope that continues at least for a little while, please. Because it's just like I've been to legal states. I've smoked legal weed. THCA is just weed. So went to the vape shop, and then I had done an order for Panera Bread, passed it, had to turn around and go back, and picked it up. And then on the way back, I went through a car wash with Orcarina, which is my truck. And I'm calling her a truck now because I learned that she's a Ford Explorer XLT. The XLT stands for extra luxurious truck. She's fabulous and I love her, but she's Orcarina because she's a big black car truck. That just like reminded me of an orca for some reason, like before I even saw her, and just had the pictures from my grandmother who bought it from a dealership here. So I got a bunch of decals and stickers off of Etsy, some of which are really cool indigenous art. One by, damn, I'm not going to remember her last name, but it's Sweetgrass by Heather. It's her shop on Etsy. It's a beaded medallion. The stickers are like a scan of a beaded medallion of an orca with a salmon hat, like J-Pod's little fashion trend. So that's on the front windshield at the very top. And then there's another one by Israel Shotridge, who is, and I'm so sorry if I say this wrong because I'd never actually heard it said, Tlingit. And it's an orca in the traditional art style. And then there's like a stained glass one that was just off of a shop I don't remember. And some decals. I have like a pod across the back. One is an orca breaching that's like black and glitter, like holographic silver glitter. And the artist told me in a little note with it that her name is Blueberry, and she is a local orca in the cove near where the artist lives. And she's one of the older mamas of her pod. Anyway, so I have my orca pod, and opposite from the salmon hat orca, on the other side of my windshield is an ocarina with flowers from Legend of Zelda. I'm not a gamer. I just know that I knew Ocarina and Zelda was like a thing. So that's what I searched and found perfect. So Orcarina is the truck. She is my freedom. Every time I get in, I think I hear in my head, is this a Jeep? More bullshit with heated rivalry fandom. I'm very desensitized to it now. Now that I've fully made the decision of like, I am no longer part of you. I am standing outside throwing rocks through your house, reminding me why I'm standing out here because you pushed me out. Like, I was very vocal about my grievances, and I tried to do them in a way of like, I am angry and here is why. And still got dismissed and ignored, or even especially outright mocked for it. I'm really sad that nobody made the joke about when I said multiple people have brought up this issue about like Luna's Satanist. That nobody made the joke of like, and are the multiple people in you right now? It would have been a good plural joke. Oh. So I took Orcarina to the car wash. That was my last thing before I came home. And I'd never gone through a car wash before, like as a driver. I would always just wash it myself. Because I was broke as hell the last time I had a car. And the last time I had a car, I had a 2000 Honda Accord. So having a 2018 car, like at all, truck. She feels like a vehicle of the future to me. Like just being able to Bluetooth my phone and automatically start playing playlists. I had the fucking cassette tape with the CD player. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. So I pull up, and there's a fucking sheriff's deputy in front of me. And I'm pulling behind him to get through, and I'm still in drive because I don't know better. And they have to knock on my window and tell me, hey, please put it in neutral. And thank God, I was like, thank you. I'm sorry. And I almost hit the back of the sheriff's deputy in front of me. And other than the fact that I would have gotten in trouble and had to deal with a cop, it would have been really funny. So Orca Arena's clean, and we got to roll the windows down and listen to music, and then came home and smoked a joint, and now we're here. So now I'm gonna go eat, and then maybe write, depending on how long Bongon, that's what we call her. I was the oldest grandchild, and I couldn't say grandma for some reason. Despite the fact that I was super hyperlexic and was like reading simple sentences at like 18 months old, apparently. I went to Montessori, and apparently and granted, this is like, what does this really mean anyway? But at least by a metric, we were IQ tested, and my mom recently found my old Montessori paperwork, and was like, I don't remember the exact number, but I remember that you were a couple points higher than me at like 4 years old. And that's not like I'm so brilliant, I am a genius. Because it sucks to have that much processing power in your brain. That's where all the crazy is stored. And it's very isolating to be very intelligent. I'm so much smarter than everyone else. Like, I lack a lot of connection with people who just don't have that capacity. And I absolutely think that in other ways that everybody's probably on even keel. That whether they make up for it in athletic intelligence or emotional intelligence or social intelligence, creative intelligence, like whatever, like just being intelligent and just having a like high processing power is not a complete like thing to value in in the way that we do. I don't know. And especially like I'm one of the alleged geniuses who dropped out of high school and got a GED and never picked a major. I don't even have, I went to community college a couple times and enjoy learning and enjoy classes, but don't like classwork. And I definitely have dyscalculia. So unfortunately, math and science, especially science, sucked because that's one of the reasons that I'm not, or at least did not continue to try to become a medical examiner. Like as a kid, that's what I wanted to be. It's definitely why that's what Foster does. Foster is a forensic anthropologist. Like the inner world is super rich and they get so bored, they even participate in a little capitalism. Faulkner has a fucking cafe job. Honey, you live on a holodeck. But Angel enjoys it. So she likes her regular customers. Damn, I started talking about the system and I derailed myself from what I was talking about. Oh well, I mean, these are just my little video diaries to capture shit like this. It does feel mostly like just Moss right now. There seems like an unfamiliar masculine presence. I know I say that like it's a fucking spirit, like I'm a medium or whatever, but as someone who was, still is, but like not practicing, like very spiritual and has always seen and heard, and now it's like, did I? Which is why we are not practicing right now, so that we can distinguish between what's metaphysical and what's actually in my brain. Because the actual, like, DID is, there are markers on MRIs. Like, it's a structural, physical injury. Yeah, I got derailed again. That's fine. Oh, talking about, yeah, I feel like there's potentially, not even necessarily, he feels pretty familiar, but I think he has not been around since the egg crack. Yeah, no, I've explained that. Yeah, Quinn outed himself. Like, we're self-diagnosed in the sense that when I was what I had up to that point considered maladaptive daydreaming, sort of watching as if I were a camera following around, like watching Quinn live his life. He just turned around and said, "Hey, we need to talk." And essentially told me, like, look into dissociative disorders, like, this is what this is. I want to help you. I'm trying my hardest. But we gotta, like, all get on the same page. And that was so scary, and I was stoned at the time, so I was like, no, 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 no. I just want that to be true, because he's been in my life for so long, and has, to me, always not been real. I'm not gonna cry about this. I might cry about this. In Moon Knight, when Mark and Steven are separated in the asylum and then find each other, the hug made me and Quinn fucking sob. Oh my god. Yeah. It's like, we're figuring out who this other person is. It's similar to Max, which is our when we were transitioning to more binary male, was the name that we went by, because previously we were going by Mackenzie. So that was our shift from Mackenzie to Max. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll name him eventually, or he'll give us a name. I will suggest, if you're an astrology bench, someone, Z reminded me of the old Tumblr gender neutral bitch of bench. Shitballs. And this is like a good brain dump for us, actually. This is kind of what we've needed, and why we're talking to camera a lot, to be able to... I think it's different vocalizing than trying to write it down or just thinking about it. Yeah, so new alter. New to us, anyway, consciously. And I think he was definitely awoken by that fight. I did not hurt her enough to tell her that, hey, that thing that happened to you, you think didn't happen to me? It did. Yeah, okay. No, fuck, I'm hungry. It's been like 25 minutes of me talking. Final thoughts. Nah, I really hope that I get to stay here. Long term. Because I've made a really good space for myself that I have needed for a long time, that I don't think I could ever recreate back in my childhood home, where I was abused in a sensory environment that is horrific for me on many, many levels. So I really hope this is home for a long time. Autism nest. Okay. You can see my pretty ceiling. with the Galaxy light that is usually teal when I bring the TV in here for hockey nights. These 10 p.m. games, y'all. I'm so glad next week is like 8 and 8:30. So much. I will never complain about an 8 o'clock game ever again. Fuck.